Hey, what's up? So I'm going to jump right into this without wasting any time at all. I think most people will appreciate if I do that as opposed to go through a normal big intro and all that. So this video, if you've got here, is regarding Facebook ads and the impact that iOS 14 is having on Facebook ads. And this stuff is pretty fluid and will change as it goes, but I feel a lot of this stuff will be relevant for a good amount of time. The one thing to note in a lot of this is that as information continues to develop and as more learnings continue to occur from Facebook, they're going to be able to improve their data modeling. And so these holes that are being predicted to be present from the gap in data being fed back to Facebook from Apple, as time goes on, I feel Facebook is bright enough, and their product managers and engineers and developers are going to be smart enough to be able to patch these things, or at least figure out some kind of way around them. And then, as years progress, I'm sure Apple will again figure some way to thwart Facebook. So why does this even matter to my brand? Whether you're a big brand or you're a small brand, I think this more so probably affects a lot of the larger brands, especially the ones that have a lot of things that they're tracking and they have a presence in multiple countries. So the way many brands advertise using Facebook ads is beginning to end. The easy days of throwing up the pixel and script or pasting the code onto your Shopify dashboard and putting some purchase conversion ads are beginning to end. And we discovered a lot of this on January 7th. It's a new day, and the tides are somewhat shifting. Again, those old days of being able to throw the pixel script up in your header of your website or pasting it into Shopify in your preferences section, those days are kind of gone. And the more society shifts towards data privacy, the more difficult it's going to be for advertisers that are really large, because it's going to be somewhat difficult to start to turn that ship around and steer it back in the right direction. And for advertisers and marketers who have been, I don't want to say lazy, but just not really on point, and they haven't really invested too much in their own self-education and learning how to properly digital market, I think it's going to be problematic for them, because a lot of this stuff that's going to happen is a really big shift. I mean, it's like a paradigm shift in the extent of how big it is and monumental. I feel like I haven't seen this big of a shift since like 2016, 2017-ish. It's very significant, and so staying up to date and staying in front of this stuff is really important for not only agencies but brands themselves. Whether small or large, because again, the way that you're tracking, the way that you're optimizing, the way that you're measuring, the way that you're targeting, everything is about to change. And if you're watching this video now, chances are it probably has already changed and shifted, and you're here looking for answers or looking for some sort of guidance. Don't be scared. This was inevitable, and in the end, it will be good thing for all of us. It will be good thing. It will be a good thing for all of us. I put all this together today, and I'm going through it kind of right now. So if there's any spelling errors or any of that, it is what it is. It's going to be a good thing for all of us, because, I mean, even as an advertiser myself and being in marketing, yeah, it sucks that all this stuff is happening, and that all this extra work is going to have to go in on a lot of different accounts that normally, I mean, there would be no reason for it. But since all this stuff is changing, we will absolutely have to be in front of it. But from a data privacy perspective, I mean, do you really want all of your stuff being tracked, and the overreaching and the limitless boundaries that the big tech companies have on all of your data and all of your movements and tracking you? In the end, trust me, it's going to be a good thing that all this stuff is happening and that it was inevitable. A lot of this stuff is already kind of occurring over in Europe with their GDPR stuff. It's happened in California with data privacy laws, and it's going to start happening in the United States. Difficulty in measuring and advertising will be increasing, which will reduce your competition and force you to better focus on the big picture and your business's main KPI goals. So again, as these things shift, this is going to be an opportunity for brands that are nimble, brands that are swift, and have really smart marketing departments, really smart developers, and intelligent teams to be able to shift really quickly and capitalize, I feel, on a lot of the changes that will occur, because there will be many, many brands that I think will just either pause their ad spend or reduce it until they really get a good grasp on it. Because I feel like once this is rolled out, and again, if you're watching this, it probably already has been, once this is rolled out and you're looking at your attribution and you're seeing like just crappy return on ad spend in your ads manager, and you've been maybe used to in the past a really high return on ad spend, I think it's going to freak a lot of people out, especially some of the other stuff that I'll go into surrounding the prioritized 8 events. So without further ado, I'll jump into this stuff. And this is just a little side note on our agency. We're headquartered in Dallas, Texas, founded in 2019 by yours truly, and we have 60 plus clients in various verticals. We're a 17-person team and more than $1 million under monthly management and growing. So let's jump right into this. The main takeaways for advertisers are that the Facebook Pixel, the Conversion API, and Ads Manager will absolutely be impacted. If you think that you've got ads and they're just going to be able to cruise through and you're not going to have much stuff change, you're in for a rude awakening, because all of that stuff in your Ads Manager will change. And I don't know what's going to change yet, but I'm guessing you can probably plan on everything changing, because it's going to affect your optimizations, it's going to affect your targeting, and it's going to affect your measurement. Bad thing for crappy marketers, good thing for good ones. Apple's new introduction of PCM, which is Private Click Management for web attribution. That's kind of an interesting thing. It's new. Not too many people know a ton on it, and I'm pretty interested myself to get to learn more and more as time passes on that, and how Private Click Management will interact with Facebook ads and with Facebook's new and improved. I don't think they're calling it a pixel. It's just, I think it might be an extra tool. Not 100% sure. It's too new. But it's AEM right here, the Aggregated Event Management, which I'll get into. Facebook's new protocol to work with PCM, Private Click Management, will result in the loss of customization and granularity we've all been accustomed to. So, looks like I forgot a little quote there. So, having these breakdowns when you look in your ad campaigns and seeing, okay, an 18 to 24-year-old male in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on an iPhone 8 on Instagram stories converted for this purchase. I think a lot of that is going away, and we're not going to be able to see such granularity in our campaigns. Again, I haven't seen it yet in the Ads Manager, so it's difficult to speculate 100%, but Facebook has said that all of that breakdown will be going away. So when you go into Facebook Ads Manager and you go into your top right section where you've got your columns, and you click on one of your columns for one of your campaigns and ads that are selected, campaign ad, ad set ad, you click on there and it's going to say breakdowns, and you can see a breakdown of placement, age, gender, country, time, device, placement, platform. Might have said one of those twice. But, that sucks, because it's good and it's fun seeing how people interact. You'll see that, people that are boomers, 60 years old and up, a lot of times those individuals convert on the Facebook news feed on, like a desktop. Or if you're looking at a product that's more geared towards younger demographics, you'll see that 18 to 24 are converting on Instagram stories really well. So again, sucks losing that. Private click management equals no measurement for app to web conversions or cross domain. Again, sucks, because what that means is you open up your Facebook app, you go to the actual website. From there, when you click on an ad that you get directed to, that measurement from I believe it's that measurement from that app to web. That conversion measurement will go away. Let me read that again. No measurement for app to web conversions or cross domain app to web. Yeah, that's what it is. So if you opt out on Apple's iOS 14 update, when it says, do you want to be tracked across apps, it's not going to track you from Facebook into like a website, which is if I'm going on the Monster Agency Instagram page and then I interact on there and I click through and I go to the website, or if I go to the website from an ad within there, it's not going to track all of the conversions. Cross-domain basically means domain to domain. So if you have monsteragency.com and you have monsteragency.uk, those two domains, it's not going to measure any kind of conversions for those. I need to brush up on that one. I think I'll post a note in the comments section on that, because I watched the webinar today and put all this together, and there's some other points on here that I want to get into, but I do want to be sure to be thorough on this. Aggregated AEM, Aggregated Event Management, basically how many conversions are measured while keeping the user's data private. So when a conversion occurs and happens from a Facebook ad, the SK ad network from Apple, I don't know if they're calling it that or private click management, that's going to be sent and that's going to be processed on Apple's side, and it's going to be sent to Facebook Ads Manager. And I don't know how they're going to process the data. I know they're going to either privatize or anonymize a lot of that data, and it's only going to feed back into Facebook Ads Manager and report on which of your campaigns generated the purchase conversion. I don't know yet if it's going to be able to be seen to where you can click on your campaigns and see which ad set and then which ad generated the conversion, or if they're only going to keep it on the campaign level. That's kind of yet to be seen, and I'm curious myself on that one. This is going to restrict, aggregate, and delay your ad campaign data, which is going to be a big pain, because all these real-time updates and adjustments that Facebook's machine learning is really awesome for, because it's got trillions of data points and algorithms working to figure out, who's going to purchase. There's going to be a lot of gaps and holes on that data that it would normally thrive off of and feedback, and we can know that, this guy is likely to purchase, because we know historically that if you get an ad on Facebook newsfeed and one on the desktop right-hand column and then one on Audience Network in a Newsweek article, that chances are when you see the fourth ad or whatever the conversion path is that you're likely to convert. There's going to be a lot of gaps in that stuff. And so not only does Facebook have to measure and attribute where that conversion occurred when it's got tons of gaps in its data, but it's also going to have a problem optimizing your campaigns, because how do you optimize on data you're not able to see or get or glean any kind of information from? This part, I feel like this is proprietary and very new for Facebook. Facebook's Aggregated Event Management. I feel like there's going to be a lot of cool stuff regarding that in the future coming out and rolling out from Facebook's team. Don't count that out. They are sandboxing some stuff for privacy, and I believe that this is going to be, in the future, the new tool when you have companies like Snapchat and LinkedIn and Yahoo or whatever, all of these different websites that are moving with the data privacy kind of stuff, and it's going to be all, fed into whatever the ad network is and tracked. It's going to be all kind of anonymized in the future and privatized. And this aggregated event management tool, or I don't know if it's a dashboard or whatnot, will be really cool, because I know that they're going to get that integrated in with a lot of those platforms. I'm like 80% positive the way that they talked about it today on their call. And eventually they're going to build out some data modeling to where, even though they're having drops in these, like, let's say 80%, 70% of users on iOS devices, that there's a drop, I feel like there's still some data there that they can be able to pull, and they can still see based on their models that this person probably purchased, this person probably converted, and that we'll be able to optimize in the future. I think it's just going to be a lot slower. So all of this stuff that we do in real time on a daily basis, where it's like boom, 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 launching all these different campaigns, testing on all kinds of audiences, and that stuff, I feel like it's going to be a little bit slower and delayed. And I will get into that part here, which is the 3-day waiting period after you make any kind of changes to your 8 prioritized events. I don't get ahead of myself. As Facebook rushes to patch all the flows that will break their process from the iOS 14 update, many advertiser tools will be breaking or deprecated. That sucks. I don't know which ones yet, but we're almost positive that it's definitely going to be some rolling impacts. And as other kinds of tools drop and fall off, that will probably have a domino effect, and it will affect something else, which will affect something else. And plan for a wacky 2021, because I definitely feel like we're definitely en route to a lot of wacky changes for what we have always normally kind of seen with Facebook ads. Data use limits will force a cap on the number of events per domain. 8 events. Those are the ones that I kind of mentioned, which we will get into on further slides. The 3-day waiting period on new or change prioritized events. This is pretty impactful if you're changing your events around. Not too much if your events stay pretty static. The importance of 8 event prioritization. This is really big. From everything that I saw, this was like probably, if not the biggest, one of the biggest parts of the changes that are occurring. And then events attribution limits effects on measurement, optimization, and targeting. All right, so get into this next one. Apple iOS 14 update flow in relation to Facebook ads. So normally, and this is going to be the prompt that I got from Facebook today. This is the prompt that pops up. Says, hey, do you want to allow all these apps to track you across apps and websites? And you either say, sure, track me, or you say, no way, this sounds scary, which they're predicting like 80% of people will say no, and only 20% of people will say yes. If you say yes, there won't be any change to the data use, but it will only still track 8 events. You'll get those full of 8 events. And when I say 8 events, I'm talking like page view, view content, add to cart, initiate checkout, all those kind of things. You'll be able to see that stuff. To account for less data, Facebook must make significant changes to web advertising flows. This will broadly impact tools across our ad system. So there will be many changes in Ads Manager. If somebody opts out on this, we will limit data use. Aggravated event management restricts, aggregates, and delays event attribution. So this is essentially going to only report and limit the amount of data coming back. So you're only going to get like one reported event if people opt out, which they more than likely will. And if your highest prioritized event is a purchase and they don't complete that, you won't get any kind of measurement back on that. I don't know if you'll get much of anything on the events that are higher in the funnel. They're saying no, that we're not going to. I don't know how that will look truly in Ads Manager once this stuff all does truly roll out. So PCM, private click measurement from Apple. This does not support app-to-web conversions, cross-domain measurement. As I said earlier, I'm going to get further clarification on this and post it in the comments. AEM, Aggregated Event Measurement, limits transmission of data while still supporting critical advertiser use cases, supports app-to-web attribution, enables flexibility for other platform privacy propositions. This is what I kind of mentioned earlier about where I feel they're going to allow other platforms like LinkedIn, Snapchat, websites, just I don't know really what, but I feel like that's where this is going, and that they're going to not only, this is my speculation, I feel like they're going to somehow sync up aggravated event measurement with attribution, which is a tool within Facebook. If you haven't already activated that, it does not retroactively track, so you'll want to go into your Facebook, like that little keypad, and you'll want to go and click on attribution and set that up and turn that on. You'll need to set up a line of business in your business manager to enable that, but you should get on that pronto. Where did I leave off? Aggravated event measurement will not solve for all of the impacts of Apple's protocol. Advertisers will lose functionality with those changes. Worldwide brands on multiple domains. This stuff does definitely seem tricky for big brands, kind of like how I mentioned earlier. So let's say that you are monsteragency.com, you're us, and you also have a agency that's in Monster Agency in UK, and you also have a Canadian agency. Now, I can have 8 domains. I can have 8 prioritized events on each one of these domains because these are unique. They're specific. It's not like I've got, monsteragency.com/UK. I can have 8 prioritized events on this one. I can have 8 prioritized events on this one, 8 prioritized events on this one. But if I have monsteragency.com, and then I've also got uk.monsteragency.com. So like if I have this right here, and it's UK and .com. If I've got that, if I've got that, I do not have 8 prioritized events available. I'm only going to have 8 prioritized. This is important. I'm only going to have 8 prioritized events across both of these. So I go from having 16 total. If I leave it like this, I've got 16 available prioritized events because these are 2 different domains. But if I do it the other way and I put UK dot, or if I have Monster Agency like this, .com, type in one hand here, /UK, I still only have 8. I'm not going to have 16. So it's important that if you don't already, I mean, it's not like you're going to retroactively do this, but it's important for brands that if they do already have it like this, beautiful, perfect. You have 16 available. If you have other domains and other websites like this, you have 24 available. But again, I want to make this really, really to the point and make sure that all y'all understand this, especially the larger brands that end up watching this. If you have it like this, /UK, /CA, you're only going to have 8 prioritized events across all of these, which is really going to screw you up, because if purchases are a very high priority to you, you're using up your prioritized events, and you've only got 8. So go back, change this again. So if you're a multinational company, it's very important that you have these like this structured. And, I feel like many should already have it that are multinational companies in this manner just for SEO purposes, because if you're doing it like this for your SEO strategy, it's not good, not the best. You want to have it domestically looking like that so that more people engage. So, monsteragent.com, .uk page view, download, view content. Those are the 8 prioritized events and whatnot. Monster Agency has 1 pixel for the main website, and that's connected to your root domain, which is monsteragency.com. Let me change this. There we go. So that's connected to your root URL. You're only going to be allowed to authenticate in your business manager, and I'll get into that, 1 domain. 1 domain for your website. That's your main website, 1 domain. But each international domain has created conversion events to track and optimize independently. So if you've got like a UK team, you got a Canadian team, you got a .com team, USA, and you got a team here, and a team here, and you all have been previously operating on separate pixels, which many companies do, duh. You're going to have you're going to have 3 multinational teams, the US team, the UK team, and the Canadian team, all having to communicate over 1 domain that's been registered. Not registered, 1 domain that's been authenticated and put in the business manager, and you're going to have to all work together to prioritize all of those events. This also goes for any other kind of marketing that you're doing. So outside of paid social, if you're doing stuff with paid search, and if you're doing stuff with affiliate marketing, where you've had all these different kinds of conversion events that you've been tracking, this might very well mean that the ad agency for the paid social is going to now have to start getting out of its shell and communicating with somebody's paid search agency that also works with them, or their affiliate agency that also works with them. So that'd probably be a good thing for people to get out of their shells and interact with some other teams, but it could also, and probably very much will, create problems among agencies. This issue is further compounded in the client plus agency example, for which events are most important. So when you have when a company has an agency that's doing something, and that agency has their own pixel, like the Monster Agency pixel for Pepsi USA, and then Coca-Cola also has a specific pixel for a paid search team that works for Pepsi, and we both have our separate pixels that are connected to the domain, and then that goes away with everything I'm saying here. So it's going to create a good amount of problems. Where am I? Slide 7. Only 8 events. These campaigns optimizing for more than 8 events will be automatically paused. So anything outside of 8 events, it's going to be paused. If you're running a campaign that's optimizing for, you've got like a ninth event on your stuff that is optimized for subscription, that's going to be paused if you've got a campaign automatically. And I think that I don't know. I feel like in February is when it's going to truly happen, but it can happen at any time. And when it does, if you're running a lot of ad spend with your clients that are larger, you're going to have those campaigns paused, and they're going to be very questionative. I don't know if that's a word, about what's going on. So you want to get in front of that if you haven't already. I'm sorry, you can't just yet if you're watching this video right now in this moment on January 7th. You can't just change it. I haven't seen it in Events Manager to be able to do that and to prioritize that just yet. But I have noticed some wonky stuff going on in Events Manager today, January 7th, this evening. And it seems like that stuff might be getting kind of like tweaked around or rolled out. I don't know if it was just me and I was having issues or not. So Facebook does not have a solution for this right now. This will cause a ton of problems. Again, this is going to be for the 8 events, and beyond that, that Apple and their private click management is going to process only up to 8 events if people have opted in. If they do not opt in, this will be only 1 event. So it was just 1 event if they have opted out. If they opt in, it's 8 events that you can track, up to 8 events. Big brands, bigger problems. That's exactly what I'm talking about here, is that these multinational companies, these really big, large companies where they have multiple agencies working with them, they've got multiple teams all across the globe. This is going to be big problems for all of you. I don't have any kind of solution on this, leastways, just yet. For the bigger brands, we're still kind of watching this develop and seeing it. We do predict that there will be tools pretty quickly rolled out to help, I wouldn't say combat, but to help assist. Your biggest problem as an agency or as a marketing department is going to really, I think in my opinion, be your attribution, your measurement. When you have your Monday morning meetings and you're going through the slide deck that you've prepared from the prior week's data and you've got all these gaps, you're going to have to be explaining why you're not able to track, which is annoying because it's going to make your job more difficult. But at the same time, if you do move more towards a holistic digital marketing kind of experience, and you're moving more towards, I don't know, I guess more macro in a sense, you're going to be looking at the very bottom of your funnel, and that's the way I would be measuring it. What goes out versus what goes in. What goes in versus what goes out. So what you're putting out there in ad spend versus what's coming in for revenue or leads, whatever it is. That's how you'll probably start measuring a lot of this stuff moving forward. So this is from screenshot inside of Business Manager. This is why domain verification is important. You need to go in there into your Business Manager, click Brand Safety, click Domains, and do the DNS verification into your website, your main website URL that you're going to be using. Make sure that you do this. This is very important. This will go hand in hand in how Apple's processing all this data and then sending it back to Facebook. This is very important, people. Do that. 8 events prioritization. So brands will need to prioritize their 8 events they select. As the example to the right is for e-commerce clients that have an emphasis on purchases. So we've got page view. This is the normal kind of stuff that you would see in Shopify. But page view, view content, add to cart, initiate checkout, add of payment, and then purchase. And I've got these 2 extra up here for just any kind of optional extra events that you might want to track. So maybe it's subscription. Maybe it's lead if you're doing lead generation for opt-ins on an email campaign to grow your email list that you're drip feeding and drip marketing to get purchases. I don't know. This is just a little example of that. So as opposed to having all kinds of different events and all that, you're going to have to prioritize these, and this being the highest priority as a purchase. Where am I? So sneak peek, how this will look in Events Manager. And I know this is a little bit blurry here. This is taken from just an example from Facebook. But as you can see here in this illustration of what they've shown, marking this stuff in your order of priority. You got lowest right here, highest right here. And then what's interesting here is pixel custom conversion. I was looking at this earlier and I couldn't understand it because, again, it's very new. But again, pixel custom conversion. So on one hand, we're being told that only one domain is going to be able to track things. If you have multiple pixels across multiple agencies, that it's going to present a good amount of problems. However, I saw this and was kind of interested by that. I don't know if that was just an example that somebody put together or if this truly will be something that maybe they kind of walk back and they say, okay, well, this is too big of a problem for all these massive companies spending money on Facebook, and we need to have some sort of solution. And so, you pick your pixel for whoever you're sharing that pixel for. So, like, let's say North America right here, Europe, and we've got Asia right there, and maybe there's another one in there in Germany. I don't know. And we've got 4 of those assigned events for purchase for all 4 of those. Again, this is speculative of what I'm saying right now. This says right here, when editing event configuration, choose events that will send the data that is most important to your business. To make changes, choose a different pixel or event from the list or drag and drop events to change the priority order. You can only add up to 8 events for optimization. Ad campaigns will be immediately paused for 3 days after you submit event changes to allow time for any outstanding conversions to register. So this is kind of what I was mentioning here. The 3-day waiting period on new or changed prioritized events. So coming back here, if you change any of these, or if you add a new one, it's going to pause everything for 3 days. They say it's going to take 24 hours for a lag, and then 24 hours for a pause, and then it also says 24 to 48 hours, which will be technically how they pause it. I guess for attribution's sake, I'm not 100% sure because it said up to 24 to 48 hours in their Facebook's documentation. It could be a little bit less, I don't know. But again, it's not too big of a deal, but it can be. So let's say if you change one of these things and you do this right before Black Friday, this is super speculative and out there, but if you do that and you change that, back right before Black Friday, you have totally just screwed your chances of being profitable on the biggest day of the year. Okay, so what's next? When a user opts out, Facebook will only receive information on one event completed after an ad click. Crazy, right? It is. So normally we're used to getting adds to cart conversion events, view contents, everything under the sun. We as marketers and agencies and advertising agencies and brands have had such golden years of being able to track everything. And those days are going. And this is what I mentioned earlier, a big paradigm shift in how this stuff is going. Now, whatever our highest prioritized event is, with Apple's iOS update, we're only able to prioritize that one event. If they don't fire a purchase, I don't believe it's going to be tracked. I'm not 100% sure yet, so don't take me at that. But all those other events, supposedly from what they've all mentioned, they won't be able to be tracked. Once this is rolled out, advertisers need to immediately go in and select their top 8 conversion events. Apple hasn't announced their enforcement date yet, but it may be as soon as January. Do it now to avoid disruption on your campaigns. Very important. Again, what I said earlier, though, the prioritized events haven't yet rolled out into Events Manager as I've last checked today, January 7th. If you're watching this video in the future, chances are it's rolled out. So if we go here today, I'm able to track everything, unlimited events tracked on our website. After the iOS 14 update, if somebody opts in, all of your prioritized 8 events will be returned. You will be able to see things like a view content, add to cart, all that stuff. Only 8. Only 8 if they've opted in. If they have not opted in, you're going to only get one event based. One event will be measured based on your highest prioritized event, which is, of course, the purchase, or in our case, a website complete registration event. So again, I said it a second ago. Only one of your events will be measured based on your highest prioritized event. I feel like that's going to change in the future, but as it is right now, it seems like what they're saying, only one event is going to be tracked. Events attribution limits equal drastic changes in optimization and targeting. The current default attribution window of 7-day click or 1-day view for optimizations will be now 7-day click. So we see this a lot anyways on when we're running like catalog ads. It'll do that by default. But I'm not too worried about this, to be completely honest. So you shouldn't probably be too worried on that either. I think it will probably affect a lot of people's numbers who are getting view conversion events. So a use case scenario is if you're running like 80% of your budget on paid search, but you're also running Facebook ads, and your Facebook ads are looking real nice as an agency. Once they remove that 1-day view, you're not going to be able to keep padding your numbers with the paid search portion of your channel, and it's going to only be 7-day clicks. So in the end, it'll be a good thing. I think people will get much better in their advertising and their strategies, because it's going to force you to be good, to drive good results, because not only are you going to have to compete and battle this, but you're also going to have to battle measurement, because you're going to have gaps and inconsistencies in your campaigns that you're running. So if you're used to having like 10 conversions per day for purchases for a client, you might see like 3 to 4. I don't know yet, but it's definitely going to be drastically reduced and dropped, which you're going to have to get in front of this stuff and collaborate with your clients, or if you're a marketing department, collaborate with the other arms or the other departments or your CEO or whatnot to explain why these drops are going to be occurring, and then what you're going to do to potentially try and better measure. And that's going to happen at the very bottom of your funnel, which is your revenue out. Ad spend up here, and then we've got our revenue down here. You'll figure it out. I'm confident in that. What to expect? So optimization targeting, we're going to absolutely see performance declines. We're going to absolutely see prospecting and retargeting problems. Again, I mean, let's be real. Reductions in data and data points and abilities for Facebook's machine learning algorithms to be able to go in and in real time, boom, 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 see all of this data, this treasure trove of data. Now it's got all these gaps, and it's like just like almost like doing the robot. There's going to be definite performance declines due to that, because how do you optimize on data you're missing? You can't, at least ways we think. Again, as mentioned earlier, I think that they will come up with some very sophisticated data modeling things to kind of plug in where there's gaps in your account. Measurements, reduction in conversions attributed. That's going to suck, of course. Conversions attributed won't have breakdowns. That really sucks too, because as marketers, we want to figure out that customer persona, that ideal kind of avatar. And if we're not able to see who an ideal avatar is because we're missing data or big chunks of it, guess what you're going to have to do? More work to figure out who that avatar is, how they operate, how they think, and you're going to have to really dig much deeper into who your customers are. It doesn't mean everything's screwed and it's going away. You're just going to have to get a bit more sophisticated. Maybe start running polling in some of your email campaigns to your customers and asking them and forging a better relationship with your customers. Again, all of this stuff, it's crazy. It's a paradigm shift, but it's going to make better marketers. It's going to make better brands. And I think it's going to really be harmonious with consumer and customer trust towards big brands and what they're doing and how they're monetizing off of the products, which is the people on Facebook and Instagram. So expect efficacy reductions. Let's be honest, less data will mean worse optimizations. This is today. This is going to be when the Apple iOS update comes out and all these people opt to not be tracked. Relax, it's fluid. So there's so much up in the air right now. I know a lot of what I've got here can be frightening. However, many parts of the slides I went through have not been fully tested by Facebook product development because it hasn't been rolled out. And then if it hasn't been rolled out, then we don't have advertisers in mass using and adopting this stuff for Facebook to really be able to see, okay, guys, what's really going to happen when the stuff rolls out? Once it does roll out and advertisers are adopting and we're prioritizing our 8 events, Facebook's going to start getting all that data in and be able to predictably model off of how all that stuff's happening. I'm sure they're doing it right now, testing on the back end. and they're already showing that they're missing stuff and missing big chunks. But just like, everything progresses in time, things will be fixed and figured out. Especially, you can believe if their shares are starting to get hurt, they're going to be really prioritizing how to fix this stuff. Once these changes do officially roll out and mass advertisers adopt, we may see some awesome new predictive modeling systems Facebook is able to put together to assist advertisers. That's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to all this stuff. If you're just dipping your toe in advertising or as an agency, it's probably like the worst time to start. It might be a great time to start because you're learning a lot. And if you're really committed to it, you're going to figure it out. Marketers are very, not malleable, but persistent. What's that word? Like, I forget what it is. Marketers will adapt. They'll figure it out, and we'll be able to continue to move on. Maybe I'll think of that word before I get through all this. But look at this. This is interesting to me. All this stuff looks like opportunity, in my opinion, with all these problems on Apple and Facebook. The big gorilla in the room that's been silent in all this stuff is Google. They haven't been affected really at all on it. And if we're looking here at the top 100 websites in terms of the actual traffic on platforms, Facebook's number 3. Number 1 is Google. Number 2 is YouTube. What does that look like to you? Looks like an opportunity to me to advertise using paid search. Paid search is a little bit more complicated than Facebook, especially how with Facebook has been over the last few years. It's been so incredibly easy to install your pixel, like I said, throw up a purchase conversion ad. It's so easy to start generating purchase conversions, whereas Google is much different and much more complicated and takes a little bit more patience and persistence. But I like paid search a lot, especially for a lot of our e-com clients. So again, you've known this. If you've been marketing only using Facebook ads, you've been putting all your eggs in one basket, and now it's truly time to get on YouTube, start self-educating, figure this stuff out, start moving some of your own business and your own clients' business towards paid search. The customers are here. The customers are here. Same customers are here. You're just reaching them on different platforms and using different means to do that. You've been spoiled greatly by Facebook and Instagram. We have as well. I'm certainly to blame there. But it's time to start moving around and getting proactive on this stuff. Opportunity lies within friction. Don't give up. Persevere. As a brand, you'll make it through it if you want to make it through it. If you feel like you're going to live and die by this stuff, then you will. But we're honestly not too phased on it. It's crazy the stuff that's happening, but it's a good thing. It's going to improve a lot of how we do, and the clients that do stick with us and that we retain on all this, they're going to be better for it. And I think it'll make much more sticky agencies because you'll be providing much more value for your clients as a sage and guidance through all this stuff. Many companies say, hey, you know what? Thanks, guys, but we're spending $10,000 a month with your agency, and we're going to pull this stuff in-house because we've got somebody here who feels they've been watching you in Ads Manager and whatnot, and they feel like they can adequately handle your job. And so we're going to pull that back in and, bump up our net profits. So what normally has been happening with that won't probably be happening as much, I think, as we see that there's really more specialization from agencies that are giving this kind of valuable insight and guidance on what to do within Facebook ads, because that majority of businesses aren't going to just go and tackle their own paid search stuff. That's the last thing they're going to do. If they're going to go to any platform first to start tinkering or noodling or doing stuff in-house, it's going to be Facebook. So if you need help getting ready, give our team a shout by visiting monsteragency.com and click Get a Free Proposal, or email me, Andrew, personally, andrew@monsteragency.com. I appreciate y'all sticking through this and watching this 45-minute video on all this stuff. Best of luck to you as this stuff continues to roll out. Haven't been as active on YouTube lately just because we've been so dang busy in our agency. I'd love to upload more videos, but just don't have the bandwidth to be able to do it lately. So anyways, appreciate y'all watching this video, and hey, hit like, subscribe if you found this useful, and reach out if you need any help on this stuff. See ya.